How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews. Back with yet another review. Yeah, a little bit of non-alcoholic, hopeful goodness up in this piece in the form of Bravus Brewing. Is their Raspberry Gose. Yeah. They have story time in the back. Talks about the brewery more than the beer, so we're going to skip it. This has got a weird bottom on it. Like, it's all kind of messed up and stuff. This is Best by 12/21. So I'm assuming it was canned in December. Bravus reached out and said, hey, man, we'll send you some beers. Or NA beers, I guess you'd say. And working through them, I think this is the second to last one I have. And some hits, some nothing bad, though, which is kind of cool. Now, first thing jumps out here. Raspberry Gose. Doesn't look like it has raspberries in it. What that makes me think is that they're using an raspberry extract, some kind of flavoring. Could be wrong, but you're not going to get that rich red tone on there. It's kind of weird. Label-wise, it's what do you expect from kind of, I don't know, just not generic labeling, but labeling kind of, like you market research to label, let's put it that way, with a bunch of old people. Beer-wise, it looks like a hazy pale, wheat beer, all that kind of stuff. It just lacks that kind of hazy raspberry Gose. You kind of expect this kind of tint of red to it. So, anyway, it's good nose. I mean, a raspberry definitely in there. There's definitely kind of a kettle sour tartness. I'm actually having a hard time separating the two, which actually isn't an overtly negative thing. I'm not getting that kind of undercooked, kind of soft, kind of porridgey, kind of oatmeal-y kind of graininess from it, which I typically get from a lot of non-alcoholic beers. It tends to not show up when you have this kind of tartness, fruitness going on, so it could be kind of hiding that a little bit. But it smells like, honestly, if you gave this to me blind and said, hey, man, try this, or hand it to me and said, hey, try this Raspberry Gose, I gave it a whiff. I'm like, okay, that's a Raspberry Gose. Let's dive in. Cheers. Okay. So it does have that little doughiness to it that these beers typically have, especially the paler ones. It comes through in the taste, didn't come through in the nose. There's this tart acidity to it. It almost, I think it's all derived from a fruit, even though this almost has to be fruit extract. There is an acidic portion to it, so I probably added some kind of acidic portion of the show, like just a base kind of a citric acid, give the citrusness to it. Doesn't really have like a sour, kettle sour kind of bite to it. The citrus portion of the show that you typically get from a kettle sour, and that makes you think it is a kettle sour, has this kind of lightness and brightness and zinginess to it. This is more just kind of a softness. I don't really get, actually no, I'm going to pull that one back. I was going to say I don't really get much of a salinity on this beer at all. When you're talking about a Gose, you kind of expect that. There's more of a minerality to the beer. Let's say, okay, it says water, malted barley, raspberries, coriander, pink Himalayan sea salt, hops, and yeast. I guess you could say there's real raspberries in here, especially, I don't know. Just expect that color. It kind of throws me off. Coriander I would not have picked up on. And honestly, the more I drink it, I do get a little bit more of that minerality. It's going on a little bit of saltiness, so I'll pull that one back and just say, honestly, is this one of the better non-alcoholic Goses I've ever had? I think it's pretty much the best because it's the only one I've ever had. That being said, I've had like 2% Goses that were banging, so is that non-alcoholic level? No, but it's not that bad, honestly. And this brewery set this off, this and the other beers they set off, and I went into these with an open mind, not just from somebody that drinks beer and enjoys beer, but somebody that actually really does enjoy non-alcoholic beers. And while sans maybe one, all of them had that kind of non-alcoholic feel to them, especially from that malt base on it. There's some of the better ones that I've had. And there's some of the more creative ones I've had. I've had some dark milds here. I've had some IPAs there. I've had a couple non-alcoholic offerings. But more often than not, they're just IPA or Pilsner. I love my Pilsner. Classic German style, your Bitburger non-alcoholics. That's my favorite non-alcoholic beer. But to get an oatmeal stout, to get a raspberry Gose, those kind of beers is fun. So I dig that they're doing that and they're taking a cut at beers that just aren't boring. And that's a very fun thing. So yeah, in general, this is going to be the best because I've never had one before. Value and availability on these things I actually don't know. So if anybody out there in the old Bravus world wants to let me know what's what and leave you with, if you like what we like this beer. If you like Goses and you want not a bunch of alcohol, I mean, that's kind of how Goses roll to begin with. But if you're an NA person, this is probably the best going to get in this kind of style. So if you like those styles and you like NA beers, this will not suck. So there you go. Reviewing the books. Let me know if you guys had anything from this brewery down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massif if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a little bit of Gose right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.